The Overstood Human Podcast. Unfiltered dialogue, real solutions, no labels. The Overstood Human Podcast exists to inspire people to live with strength, freedom, and a purpose in a world full of noise and division. We champion a life anchored in true health, strong family, personal sovereignty, and self-discovery, inspiring our listeners to thrive beyond the confines of the designed system. Our mission is to inspire you to break free from mediocrity, think independently, and live a life of meaning, resilience, and impact. All right, I am Frank Tortorici.
And I am Sarah Green, and this is the Overstood Human Podcast.
Today is going to be an interesting one. We are going to cover the good old FDA.
Yes.
And man, is there a lot to cover. Yeah, the FDA has a lot of interesting recommendations. And for those of us that are really passionate about health, wellness, and longevity, there always tends to be this pushback of, whoa, did they just say that? Are they recommending that? I think, Sarah, you're wearing one of the most appropriate shirts for a topic as such.
Yes, on purpose.
Because there was a lot spewed out of that reptilian's mouth.
Yes.
For quite some time, where you had that reaction like, oh, wait, did he just say that? Did he just say that? And if there's anybody that's just listening to this and you can't see it, we are in fact talking about Dr. Fraudchi, I like to call him.
Love it.
So Sarah, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. You'll have to excuse my voice. I've got a little bit of a hoarse voice, but I feel great. So I'm ready to rock and roll. This is a topic near and dear to my heart. And I think so many people have been lied to about what the FDA is, who they represent. And it's time to wake them up.
Yep. And obviously there's so many topics that can be discussed when talking about this specific topic. I put some notes together here that I think it'd be good for us to go through, just about 4 different topics that we can cover. And again, anyone listening to this, we're always open up to questions, suggestions. If there's things that we're not touching on that you do want to be touched on, we will be glad to do it at a later date with a later episode, hopefully with another guest that we can bring on that is well-versed in that topic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just start with one of the most craziest ones, I think. Well, they're all pretty crazy.
Yes, they are.
They're all pretty crazy. But here I have a Google search, and this is about sunlight on your skin. I'm going to read this. This is an AI overview from the FDA website. The FDA recommends using broad spectrum sunscreens with an SPF of 15 or higher, and for more protection, SPF 30 plus that are water resistant, protecting against both UVA, UVB rays, with zinc oxide and titanium dioxide being the key active ingredients for mineral options, while the advanced new filters for wider choice look labels that stating broad spectrum SPF 15, yada, 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 yada. It goes on and on and on. And then it says reapply every 2 hours or more if sweating or swimming alongside shade and protective clothing. So, Sarah.
Yes.
What's your initial reaction when hearing something like that straight off of the FDA's website when it comes to getting sunlight on your skin?
Well, I kind of take what the FDA says and I do a complete 180. So if they're telling me to apply sunscreen SPF 15 to 30 every 2 hours, I'm going to do the opposite. Now, you don't want to get sunburn, right? You don't want to actually burn your skin, but we need vitamin D for so many different functions in the body. And if you look at skin cancer rates, they started skyrocketing when we started pushing sunscreen. So sunscreen itself is super toxic, has a lot of chemicals, a lot of neuroendocrine disruptors. And if you think of your skin as an organ, because it's the biggest organ on the body, and it's very porous. So what you apply on your skin is going to be absorbed into your body. When you apply chemicals on your skin in the heat, your pores are going to get bigger and you're going to absorb more. So the worst thing you could possibly do for your children and yourself is to get that spray on sunscreen Well, you're baking in the sun. Your body is taking all these
Mm.
chemicals in, and it's no wonder that we have disrupted hormones, cancer, skin cancer on a rise. Like, you guys, it's toxic. So if you are going to be in the sun and you're going to be exposed, you can wear some sort of sunshade after you've had enough, or apply just straight up zinc. My
Mm.
kids hate it when I put sunscreen on them because they look like a ghost, but I will only get, I use Van Man's sunscreen with tallow and zinc. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do actually have to reapply because it's not waterproof, but all that stuff that makes sunscreen waterproof, man, it's horrible for you. So we used to treat patients in hospitals. They had sun decks in hospitals
Yeah.
that people would sit on to heal. In fact,
Yeah.
they would actually treat melanoma with sun exposure. And you get the
Mm-hmm.
Rockefellers, you get all these people involved, and all of a sudden, the sun becomes this poisonous, toxic thing. And now Bill Gates and everyone else, they're trying to block the sun. We thrive on the sun. Look how plants grow. Like, we need the sun. So vitamin D levels are at an ultimate low for most of my patients when I test, and they're fearful of the sun. The sun is what keeps us alive. So
Mm-hmm.
there's my 2 cents on it. But man, oh man, I mean,
Yeah.
the FDA, they're so corrupt. It's not even funny.
Yeah. And I even come from the school of thought too of right the what's going on internally with people that is causing the sun to cause damage with people, right?
Yeah,
Uh, are they eating a diet that's ridiculously high in linoleic acid, right? Creating a lot of inflammation. Um, are they you go to a beach, right? Look at the people what they're eating hot dogs, drinking beer, eating Doritos. So when you start consuming foods like that and you sit in the sun, it's almost like I always kind of looked at it as almost like a microwave, like sitting in a microwave,
yeah,
right? And I mean, there's nothing good that can come out of putting food in a microwave, whether it's
no,
healthy food or bad food, but it's like this combustion kind of effect in
yep,
the human body, right? Like
yeah,
when there's all this toxicity, all this inflammatory foods going in, all of these chemicals, and then you're sitting in the sun and like cooking yourself basically, right? I mean, so that the health from the inside out is a problem, and then it I just think diet has a lot to do with skin cancer. Obviously,
oh
there's
sure,
skin complexions. People definitely can burn easier than others, and there's definitely truth to that.
yeah,
But what I found, what works for so many people is just applying even fatty oils to your skin, along with the zinc is a great combination. But like your tallows, your coconut oil, even carrot oil, these are all things that tend to work really well that help keep the skin from burning. And I've experienced that. I'm a sun worshiper. That's one of my
yeah,
guilty pleasures. I love the sun.
yeah.
Uh,
Me too.
I I'm very affected during the winter months. Now, I live in a place where there is sunshine most of the year. But why do you guys, I mean, aside from so many factors of um, the holidays, of people overindulging in processed foods, alcohols, a lot of society falling into the FDA and pharmaceutical propaganda of getting their shots and all that kind of stuff. What do you think the other uh, piece of the puzzle is, if you will, of quote unquote flu season? I mean, there's depending on where you live in the world, in the United States, during the winter months, most people are getting less sunshine on their skin, right? Um,
Absolutely.
Horrible food, less sunshine, and it's like we're one of the other ones we'll touch on a little bit is like just even the FDA's guidelines of fat intake. Now, as we know, and Sarah, I'd love for you to kind of like piggyback off of what I'm going to say here, but it is a known scientific fact that cholesterol, when you have healthy amounts of cholesterol in your body and you go into the sun, it then helps stimulate the body's production of vitamin D.
Yes.
And when we think of how many people are on I mean, do you know this from a medical standpoint? Like people who actually are more prone to skin cancers, what's the cholesterol link with them? And are there stats of people that are on statins, like with skin cancers? Can you speak to anything on that? Do you know any data on that? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't I haven't researched that, and I really don't have patients
Hmm.
on statins, and so I guess
Hmm.
an internal kind of look at my patients, in my practice, I maybe 1% of my patients are on statin drugs,
Hmm.
typically not because they're prescribed by me. So
Right.
I don't know, but I do. I mean, statin drugs are just toxic, um,
Yeah.
and low vitamin D is toxic. So
Hmm.
we those 2 go hand in hand. I mean, if you think about you have to kind of almost take everything the FDA says and recommends and do a
Hmm.
180. You really do. Everything they're
Yeah.
telling you to do, everything they're advising you to do is going to continue to make you a patient with big pharma. And they're
Yeah.
all hand in hand. I mean, people that work at the FDA are now working for Pfizer. I mean, it's this buddy buddy, handshake type of corrupt system. And
Hmm.
yeah, no, I don't know the statistics on that. That would be actually kind of fun to dive into and look into. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of super low vitamin D levels in those patients. I mean, I know there was a study done on intubated ICU patients with COVID, and
Hmm.
the study showed that everyone on a ventilator intubated in the ICU had extremely low vitamin D levels. And if you look at the spectrum of what big pharma thinks is normal for vitamin D, it's 30 to 100. And so if someone's vitamin D is 30, their provider, unless they've woken up to the corruption, is going to say, you're good, right? You're good.
Mm.
30's good. 30's low. 30's really low. So you have to
Hmm.
supplement. Sunshine is the best way, but for places that you
Yeah.
can't get that, you have to do supplemental vitamin D with K2,
Hmm.
D3,
Hmm.
K2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also, again, I hate when people think of like for this topic as an example, vitamin D, right? Why do people always run to the supplement, right? Like the supplement should be the secondary, like primary is what's your diet like? What vitamin D rich foods are you eating, right?
Sure.
Like what cholesterol, healthy cholesterol rich foods are you consuming? So that's the mindset that one would want to take because there are a lot of toxic supplements out there too,
Sure.
and you have to really source like good quality vitamin D3 with K2. But the diet is going to be the most optimal, I believe, uh, piece of the puzzle, if you will, to maintaining healthy natural vitamin D levels and also, again, preventing your risk of burning and skin cancers. I think it's definitely, it coincides. It's not just this topical thing of slapping on toxicity onto your skin, and it's just
Sure.
so crazy when you think of that, right? I mean, as you said a little bit ago, I mean, you think of like them, Bill Gates, that whole movement of blocking the sun
Yeah.
and us going into the sun and blocking the sun. What, and again, to piggyback off what you said, what living thing can live without the sun? What living thing can live without water for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
right? It's
Nothing.
these are nothing. I mean, the sun is what sets our circadian rhythm, right? It's like it's why you start. It's when the sun is down, it's the reason why your body starts producing melatonin at night to help you go
Yeah.
into a sleep state. And when the sun starts rising, it's the reason why your cortisol levels start coming up a bit to start
Mhm.
getting you up and going for the day. Like we are, without the sun, we die,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
So, this whole concept of that minimizing sun, again, we're not saying here sit in the sun for 3 hours and bake and fry yourself. That's not what we're
Mm-mm.
saying. But what we are saying is, there are there are adequate times to do this. Particularly, early morning sun is amazing.
Mhm.
Later in the day, obviously, high noon, depending on where you live and the time of year. Obviously, we're not saying that, but even at that time, even if you did 10, 15 minutes, right? Um, your body needs that charge from the sun. I mean, that's the end of the day. And
Yeah.
there's even that ancient practice of sun gazing, which
Hmm.
I'll even try sometimes early in the morning. And that's just like you're sitting outside. You can see you locate where the sun is. You don't look at the sun. You kind of like look here if the sun is here, but you're aware of the sun here, and the rays are going into your eyes,
Hmm.
and that actually helps in turn set the circadian rhythm, stimulate vitamin D production. Um, and that's another thing too. Like I say, the eyes, and it kind of hit me with this sunglasses.
Yes, I was going
You
to
know,
say we have
that's
to
another
talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing. I you know I never wear sunglasses for that reason because I just think it. I mean, I love the way they look, but it's it weakens your eyes. I mean, we need to challenge the strength of our eye
Hmm.
with the sun, not looking at it, but you can't be blocking the sun in every which way, shape, or form. That's
Yeah.
just an insane thing.
Yeah. I sunglasses too. So your eyes, the sun hits the back of the retinas and it tells the body that you're in the sun and it will have its own defense mechanism against burning.
Hmm.
When you block the sun with sunglasses, that doesn't set that stage. And so people who wear sunglasses tend to burn more than people
Yeah.
who don't wear sunglasses. So I I own a pair that I pull out maybe if I'm on the water, if I'm skiing, because I'm in goggles or whatever, because it's you don't want to
Right.
burn your eyes. But when I'm out at the
Right.
beach, I'm out, whatever. I My sunglasses come out maybe twice a year. That's it. And I live
Hmm.
in a state that has sun most of the time. I hardly ever put my
Hmm.
sunglasses on. I know it's not good for my eyes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So people, the sun is a necessity.
yes.
It's just about how you approach it and utilize it to your advantage, right? It's
Yep.
like no different. Water is essential,
Yeah.
but if you consume too much of it, you can actually dehydrate yourself if you're drinking too much too quickly. So obviously, everything within the right approach. And with these types of topics, I like to use the term everything in moderate. Like you have to do it in
Sure.
moderation. You have to be smart about it. I don't like using the term everything in moderation when we're talking drinking beer, eating pizza, eating donuts. Like that's not, that I don't believe in moderation with things like that. But when it comes to things that are kind of taboo, like sun and hydration and things like that, you have to utilize it, but you have to be smart about it.
Sure.
Right. I mean, I think we can agree on that.
Yep.
Um, so next here is off the FDA website, and this is about fat intake. Now it says the FDA dietary guidelines for Americans recommend adults aim for 20 to 35% of daily calories from total fat, with less than 10% from saturated fat. And using nutrition labels, blah, blah, blah. Crucial to focus on unsaturated fats from sources like avocados, nuts, and fish while limiting saturated and trans fats. Focus on unsaturated fats found in oils like, I love this. I don't know why these are in the same sentence, olive and canola.
Oh boy.
um, Nuts, seeds, avocados, fatty fish. Limit saturated fats found in red meat, poultry, dairy. High intake can raise bad cholesterol. And avoid trans fats, often in fried foods and baked goods. And then it goes on to say choose lean meats, trim fat, blah, blah, blah. Opt for whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and low dairy fat. So let's unpack that. There's a lot there.
Yes.
So let's start here. I'm going to hit you with this. Um, Focus on unsaturated fats. What do you have to say to the listeners here, Sarah, where they say found in oils like olive, canola, nut seeds, avocados, and fatty fish?
Yeah, I mean, canola oil, get that out of the picture. Avocado oil, yes. Fish, yes. Meat, yes. Milk, yes. Eggs, yes. Um, get rid of those the seed oils are toxic. I agree with staying away from fried foods too.
Hmm.
But you eat as many eggs as you can as you want. Eat as much
Hmm.
red meat as you want. That's not going to increase your risk of heart disease. When you cook with canola oil, vegetable oil, um, sunflower oil, all of them, I'm trying to think of all the different ones that they have in everything.
Safflower,
Safflower, yeah.
sunflower,
All of those things are very
actually,
toxic, very inflammatory. So I some of that stuff I
oh,
agree with.
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
While you're on that note, I forgot this slide because I want to just piggy. The other FDA supported heart healthy choices, canola oil is number one.
Oh boy.
Then they have olive oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil.
Oh gosh.
Other good options, corn oil, peanut oil, and vegetable oils.
The only one that was decent
So,
on there is the avocado oil. Everything else is
yeah,
disgusting and horrible for you.
yeah.
It's it's motor oil. It's like engine lubricant. This stuff is so toxic for the body, and we wonder why we have this massive obesity epidemic. I mean,
Mhm,
you go to other countries where they don't genetically modify their food and fry their food in seed oils and have all this crap and gluten, and they're thriving. And it's not because
mhm.
they exercise more or they do this or they do that. We poison the food supply, and the
Yep.
FDA is recommending it. I mean, if people actually follow the FDA and what they recommend, um, they're going to end up on tons of prescription meds. They're going to be part of exactly what the FDA wants them to be in the system, addicted to drugs because, and not even addicted, but necessary to survive.
To survive. Yeah.
It's crazy. We
Yeah.
are what we
I,
eat. We are what we
I think a
eat.
lot of people do follow the FDA guidelines, which is why we're so sick
Oh,
as a
yeah.
country, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I want to add to that too on that first portion here where it says focus on unsaturated fats, nuts, seeds, avocados, fatty fish. Um, the nuts and seeds thing. Nuts and seeds are really pretty well balanced in omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. But what
Mhm.
they don't specify here, obviously the pesticide issue. So
Yeah.
obviously finding as organic and regenerative, kind of like farming, that's a key. And then also avoiding these products when roasted and only consuming them either sprouted and or raw.
Yeah.
And the reason being too is when you have such a nutrient dense fatty food compacted like that and you expose it to roasting high heat, you're losing a lot of those essential fatty acids and they are becoming rancid, where now
Mhm.
you're losing that therapeutic effect and they're becoming more inflammatory,
Mhm.
right? So very important to under to really grasp that, overstand that you want to consume raw nuts, sprouted, and seeds. That's very important, and not
Yep.
the roasted kinds. Um, and then avocados. There's, I'm sure you've heard this, Sarah. Like a lot of people say that because of the thick skin, that obviously if you can buy organic, great, but if you don't have access to it, um, consuming a conventional avocado is not the worst thing in the world as far as it getting soaking in a lot of the pesticides. What's your take on that? I've heard that quite a bit throughout my years.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the tree itself being saturated, the roots being saturated, the fruits then
Hmm.
growing from a super saturated glyphosate
Hmm.
sprayed tree, then maybe a little bit from the outside, but you're getting it in the roots, and the roots then making
Hmm.
the seed and the fruit. And so
Yeah.
maybe from once they start spraying and it's like coming from outside onto the fruit or the
Yeah.
vegetable that's a fruit, but
Hmm.
maybe it's blocking some. But if it's coming in from the roots of the tree and the tree's then creating and blossoming into the fruit, I don't know how you don't
Right.
think you're not getting any glyphosate in there. So
Yeah.
I I do think that fruits like strawberries absorb a ton. I
Mm.
mean, their skin and the weight, so they're getting it from the plant itself and the roots, but also very much absorbing what's being sprayed on it. But
Yeah.
if you guys can get organic, um, I pick organic. I've read that with
Yeah.
bananas too, but I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
how the plant is actually growing in the roots and what it's absorbing through the soil, you're going to get
Yeah. I
it in
agree.
the plant. Period.
I agree. I agree. And then that takes us to the fish aspect of it. I think we've talked about this before. I mean,
Hmm.
you know, fish as a whole, like real fish, is 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 as we know. healthy food. Obviously, your wild salmon, your sardines, um, your Chilean sea bass, things like that. But there's such gray area with fish that,
Mhm.
I mean, I've even come across recently that even things that say wild caught, like wild caught salmon, they're not truly wild caught. There's loopholes with them being able to put that on there. So
Sure.
I think we touched on this on that episode with when Coach Chris was on. But let's just touch on it again because again, I think it's important. What do you think of that when it comes to fish? I personally, I don't consume fish. Maybe once a year, twice a year
Mhm.
at the most. It's not something that I'm never craving it.
Yeah.
It's so rare. Uh, what do you think about that with people consuming fish? Because again, it's the waters are, depending on
Yeah.
where you're sourcing it.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when the whole Fukushima thing happened years ago? Um, they were pulling fish out, saying that there was high traces of radiation in them from that fallout. So, do you recommend people consuming fish? And if so, what type of fish, and how do you approach that with patients?
Yeah. I mean, 5 years ago, I was a pescatarian, so I ate fish all the time, not really
Mm,
understanding. I always got, wild caught that I thought, right? But so many
mm,
places get busted and stories get broken open that these aren't wild caught, these are farm raised. And I would never eat a farm raised fish um,
mhm.
on purpose. But it is true.
Right.
I mean, the water is toxic, whether it's wild caught or not. The oceans are toxic. So I myself eat red meat probably 5, 6 days a week. Fish maybe once
Same.
every handful of months, if that. I mean, I used to be a
Hmm.
huge sushi fan and still, before I started diving into parasites, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
I know every piece of raw fish has probably parasites in it. So I avoid
yeah.
sushi. I mean, my daughter loves it. I go out maybe once a year and I pop my ivermectin and mebendazole before I even go. I do.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe it.
I totally do. But I I can't tell you the last time I had a piece of fish. I don't, I do have patients that I do check omega-3 levels, and I think omegas in general are very healthy. Um, and people are very low in their omegas, and you can supplement. That is one thing I guess you can kind of supplement with sardines. Very, if you can tolerate sardines, those are super
Yeah.
healthy for you. I'm not a sardine person. Um,
Yeah.
but you have to look at the waters from where they're coming from. If you're out in Alaska and
Yeah.
you're catching salmon in the stream and you're out there where it's fresh and clean, sure, watch out for
Hmm.
parasites, but sure.
Yeah.
But we don't know that when we rely so much on the grocery store for our food supply. And when we rely on the grocery store for our food supply, then we're giving way for the government to come in and taint our food and poison our food because that's our only food source and that's what they're going to do. So if you're
Hmm.
going to eat fish, get it from like a fish market along up here if you live by the ocean. But I don't trust like
Yeah.
I used to buy my meat and my fish from Costco. I can't tell you the last time I went to Costco and bought
Yeah.
anything fresh like that ever.
Yeah. You
Um,
can't.
man, that stuff it's
Have you
poison.
seen those videos? There's tons of videos of those the Costco fish with people. You can actually see the worms in the
Yeah,
fish. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of that.
yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I agree, and I saw a Costco
Yeah.
thing where they, we know also that they're messing with our meat supply, right? There's a lot of
Right.
lab grown meat, and if
Right.
you look at lab grown meat, what cell would they use to grow meat? They're cancer cells because
Hmm.
cancer cells grow fast. So lab grown
Mm.
meat is derived from cancer cells. I saw something, and whether it's true or not, I don't know, but Costco was basically like using a meat glue to put chunks of meat mixed with lab grown meat, in your tri tip. And you would never know that you just bought lab grown meat because the way that they can make it and formulate it. So find a
Mm.
local farmer, get your cows
Yeah.
off someone's land. That's what I do. Um, I I can't tell you the last time I went to the store and bought meat. I won't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's gross because as we touched on, no matter where you go, Whole Food, well, we'll
Yeah.
name them Whole Food Sprouts, whatever. Like no matter where you go, organic, grass fed, like those cows are all vaxxed up. They're
Sure.
all vaxxed up.
Sure.
To be in big box chain stores, they're all vaxxed up. That's
Yeah.
just what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and you said something before about getting the essential fatty acids is crucial, and yes, you can supplement with that. But again, let's go to the food first.
Hmm.
Start eating, I agree with you. I'm eating red meat 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a
Yeah.
week, right?
Yeah.
Whole eggs, the egg
Yeah.
yolks, you're getting
Yes.
essential fatty acids, your raw milk, raw
Yeah.
goat cheese, like things like that. Those are those foods are just superfoods because they're balanced, right?
Yep.
There's no imbalances in those foods. Those are multivitamins right there that I just mentioned. 3 of those things.
Yep. Good
Um,
bifidobacteria in the raw milk. I
mhm.
can't tell you the last time I drank pasteurized milk. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I can't drink
I can't
anything
either.
pasteurized.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the bathroom if I drink
Yeah,
that.
me too. But I can do. I've got A2 raw milk. I've got a couple that live down the street from me. Wonderful people. And so we get our glass, half-gallon raw milk, A2 raw milk. I
Hmm.
know what they're feeding them. They're very good with what they feed their cows. And it's delicious. And
Hmm.
you've got a fat layer when you let it sit, that's 4 inches thick in a half a gallon glass jar. Um,
Hmm.
it's delicious
Yeah.
and it's filled with
And
vital nutrients.
what's so crazy too, there's data on this too. And it's a rough estimate, but if you go to Google and try to find out how many people were actually killed by raw milk in the last 5 years, you'll find numbers of like, uh, I found here, milk killed about 5 people roughly in the last 75 years, raw milk. So all this mass hysteria is crazy because on the flip side, if you Google it, about 250,000 people were killed for medical malpractice last year.
It's the third leading cause of death.
Right.
How about
So
vaccines?
we can't. You can't. I gotta go. I have to go to DuckDuckGo for that. Google is not
Oh
going to tell me
boy, I
that.
know. It's more than 5.
Yeah, yeah. We're not going to find that there. Um, so yeah. So it all roads lead to, like, when they tell you to go left, the truth is to the right.
Yes.
That's where we're getting at here, and this is where it gets so misleading. Again, I'm looking at this that I pulled here, and they say opt for whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and low fats. And again, there's no mention. Again, this is the Food and Drug Administration. Why are they making just blanket statements like this on their website? And why is there no attention paid to, well, if you're consuming whole grains, do they have glyphosate, like say
Yeah.
oatmeal, which is loaded with glyphosate?
Hmm.
Same thing for your fruits and vegetables. The pesticides, like, why is this not even, it's not even a topic of conversation?
No, no. I really don't eat, honestly. It's pretty sad. I mean, I went from pescatarian 5 years ago to I'm almost basically a carnivore. Like, I don't even
Hmm.
trust the fruits and vegetables anymore.
No.
Um, I know where my cows are coming from, and I know where my milk is coming from. I know where my eggs come from. I know where
Hmm.
my cheese comes from, and that's basically my diet right now. Will I expand that? Will it change? I'm sure it will,
Yeah.
but I don't trust if it says organic. Is it? I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
I'll eat fruits and vegetables that I grow.
Right.
But buying it in the grocery store, no, not really. I don't trust it.
Right. Yeah. No. It's again, as we've touched on this, it's so important to source it locally.
Mhm.
But it's just so irresponsible in my eyes to make these blanket statements as the Food and Drug Administration and not acknowledge these topics with people. Of, you can't just call a grain, you can't just call
No.
a fruit, or a vegetable. Like, there's genetically engineered, there's the appeal going on it now, there's the pesticides, uh, lab grown. Like, you can't just call anything what we've known it as through our life. Like, there's sub sidebars to it all now, right? And it's so irresponsible when you go to a website like this, you just see meat, fish, dairy, and it's just these blanket statements. Like each one of those statements has sidebars to them.
Right.
And it's just crazy to me. And then again, we're going to go to the next one, but just really quick, they have the corn, the peanut, the safflower, the vegetable oils. I mean,
horrible.
Corn, peanut, like, and let's just be clear too, like when you hear sunflower oil, like eating raw sprouted sunflower seeds is a totally different topic of conversation. The seed oil, the seed is not the problem. It's how they make the oil that becomes the problem, right? So let's be clear about that for anyone that wanted to know that listening to this. And then, corn, soy, wheat. Those are the three highly most genetically modified crops in the United States of America. Why do you think it's in everything and it's so cheap and so inexpensive? So you start consuming corn oil, vegetable oil, and you're worried about cholesterol and you're worried about inflammation.
Priorities are all mixed up. Yeah.
Anyway, let's do you have anything else you want to add to that topic, or you think we hit that pretty good?
You guys just read your labels. I think that's number one on this is like, we're not trying to scare you. We're not trying to, knowledge is power, and you have to read the labels, and they'll fool you. They'll say made with avocado oil. But then when you read the ingredients, it's also made with canola oil or vegetable oil or some other oil that's toxic. So make sure you don't just read the front of the package, but you actually read the ingredients on the back, because they will fool you. You will pay more and you'll still be eating poison. So always, always read the labels. Yep.
And it's important too, even with the avocado oils. I mean, again, you say we're not trying to scare you. This is we're trying to do what the FDA should be doing, and that's just create awareness. The more there's awareness, the more questions you ask. The more questions you ask puts a higher demand of integrity on these companies that are producing these products for us. And that's what it's about. Because even the avocado oils, if they're not from one single origin, there's a very high probability that you're not even consuming pure avocado oil. It's now cut with other oils. So again, if I always say this, the average person will study all the specs on a new car before they purchase it, research the neighborhood, the home that they're going to buy, do due diligence if they're going to go on a family vacation of what to do, what not to do, where to go, what to avoid, where there's dangerous spots. Do the same thing when it comes to what you're putting into your body. Right? I mean, it's a very simple thing, So that segues into, kind of piggybacks off of this, but now we're going to go into the FDA stance on genetically modified safety. And now the first bullet point that comes up is GMO foods are considered as safe and nutritious as traditional foods, with research showing no difference in health impacts, allergies, or cancer risks.
Wow.
That's off the FDA website.
They just called out the three things that you have to look out for. I mean, they just called themselves out. Those are the three things that it spikes with genetically modified foods. So they just basically, I mean, yeah. It's crazy.
Let's look at it. I always tell people, when people try to debate the whole genetically modified topic, again, we're playing God, right? Food is something that is God's creation. And when man comes in, it's just insane to me that we live in a world that everything that God has created and that man alters, that's deemed as safer, right? Raw milk to pasteurize, that's safer. Like, and we're going to touch on that next, but like the GMO food, a lot of these genetically engineered crops are designed that when an insect bites into them, they, along with the pesticides, they explode from the inside out. That's what kills a lot of the pesticides when they latch on to, say, a GMO tomato or an apple or something like that. Pesticides and just the genetically engineering of the seed to make it as resistant as possible. Because again, GMO foods were designed to feed the world, right? So there's no shortages of food. So that's they're resistant to a lot of these things. And as we've talked about too so many times, the importance of gut health. Well, if an insect is having issues with ingesting these pesticides in these genetically engineered crops and they're basically exploding from the inside out, does it beg the question why we see so many gut issues in our society?
Yep.
Leaky gut being a big one, Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome.
Yep.
Like these are things that you put 10 people in a room. I don't know what the stats are on that of how many out of the 10, but I'm going to bet it's probably like 7 or 8 people out of 10 are dealing with gut issues like that. And that's not by coincidence. Of course, there's the color dyes, there's all the other things too. But this is a huge, huge thing to look at because, as I'm sure Sarah can tell you, if your gut is disrupted, if your microbiome is disrupted, if you have leaky gut and you're not absorbing your nutrients and your minerals, what's going to happen to somebody?
Yeah, they're going to get sick. I mean, you got it. Your oral health and your gut health are the window to everything, and there is a gut brain connection. So I try to fix the gut all the time. And if you're someone that's like super into nutrition and you're popping all these supplements and you're doing all these things to try to get better, good for you. But if you don't start with the foundation, which is your gut, then all of those things they're not beneficial. When you've got leaky gut, toxins are coming in, nutrients are going out. You've got this disrupted microbiome, and that leads to disease. And we see it. I mean, not only do we see it in like irritable bowel stuff, but a lot of skin conditions are a
Mm-hmm.
reflection of what's happening internally. So when I have a patient that comes to me with eczema or rashes or some sort of skin condition, I fix the gut first. And that typically will change what is happening on their skin. So the skin is a direct reflection of what's going on in their microbiome. And there's it's so important. I mean, it's so funny too, because when I was in PA school a long time ago, the things taught in PA school where anyone taking a probiotic is crazy. Any parent that
Really?
refuses, oh yeah. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
this was,
Why?
and because
What's
they just, they're grouped. Probiotic people are grouped with anti-vaxxers. So it was like any parent that refuses to vaccinate their child, like, get them out of your practice. You don't want to deal with those people. Anyone that thinks that taking a probiotic is good for you, you don't want to deal with those people. And I was in PA school in 2008, right? And we're all indoctrinated until you can break out of the system. So
Sure.
I thought when I started, probiotics, those are just, oh my gosh, that's just, whatever. Those are all the hippies that don't even know what they're doing. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I use Dr. Sabine Hazen's stuff. I love her. She's amazing. And maybe we can get her on the show. She's all about the microbiome, everything. Her podcast is Let's Talk Shit. I'm sorry, guys, but that's actually what her podcast is called. And it's hilarious because that's all she talks about. And there's so many connections with autism and Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's and all these things and MS, all these things, like your gut, your gut, your gut, your gut. And everything that we buy in the supermarket, almost everything we buy in the supermarket is going to destroy your microbiome. It's not repairing it, it's destroying it. And so we got to start there. We have to start there.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Well, last but certainly not least, this is on FDA website. The FDA strongly advises against consuming raw, unpasteurized milk and juices due to serious risks from harmful bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, which can cause severe illness, hospitalization, or even death, especially in vulnerable groups, children, elderly, pregnant, immunocompromised. Pasteurization and heating process effectively kills these pathogens, making pasteurized products the safest choice, and federal law bans the interstate sale of raw milk. The FDA emphasizes that testing raw milk isn't a substitute for pasteurization and issues warnings for untreated juices often sold at markets requiring them to bear labels.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes, yes,
I should
yes.
have a glass of raw milk right here. Darn it.
I mean, people, you can get Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria from fruit, from vegetables. Obviously, the soil, if it's not cleaned well.
Yeah.
Right? Chicken, I mean, people get it from things that you're consuming every day that don't have this boogeyman context around it. I want to ask you, Sarah, and to my decades of studying this stuff, but obviously yours comes with more credibility. Pasteurization. The way I always explain it to clients when I work with them, I always tell them, think of pasteurization like chemotherapy. It's killing, quote unquote, the bad, but it's also killing the good. And then a lot of these conventional doctors will try to dispute that, saying that, well, that's just not true. It may be a minute depreciation, say if you're drinking pasteurized orange juice versus a raw cold pressed orange juice. Well, the vitamin C is just about the same. It may be a little bit less, but at least you're reducing the risk of getting food poisoning from the raw orange juice, or where, interject, supplement that with anything raw or unpasteurized.
Sure.
So that's my take on it, is that you're killing the bad, but you're also killing all the good. And the bad that they claim that you're killing, I try to explain to people, is almost like nature's vaccine, if you will.
Yeah.
If we go get injected with things to boost our immune system, to create an immune response, why wouldn't we try to ingest those things via our food to boost our immune system and have some sort of immune response to then build it, and the gut microbiome and the probiotics? It's just, why does it have to come in an injection and not in the form of food? Especially to what they're saying, the raw milk, if it's tested for all of those and it tests negative for anything, why wouldn't I consume it? It's like this whole thing that recently happened with the oh my god, with RFK, with the hepatitis B vaccine. If a
Sure.
mother tests negative for hepatitis B, why do they that light? So if the raw milk tests negative, what's the thought process behind all this? And can you break down more scientifically, or just from your background, is there a difference between pasteurization and not, in the sense of the vitamin and mineral content of the food?
Yeah. Pasteurization turns whatever you are pasteurizing into a processed food. So we talk all the time, don't eat processed foods. Don't eat processed foods.
Mhm.
When you consume pasteurized milk, you are now consuming a processed food. And so anytime you have a pasteurization, you're killing everything, right? You can test raw dairy and you've got tons of beautiful, good bacteria that will help your gut. As soon as you pasteurize it, that stuff's gone. I also kind of think of, I have 4 kids. I breastfed all 4 of my kids, and they will talk about, you never would microwave breast milk. Ever, never, ever, right? If you're pumping and whatever, you freeze it and then you defrost it either in something that's going to kind of make it a little bit warm, but you would never microwave it. You're destroying the whole purpose of the breast milk. It's got all this good bacteria in there, vitamins, nutrients. So as soon as you heat that up, you've completely ruined those proteins. They're no longer active, viable proteins. So if you're going to drink milk and you're going to drink pasteurized milk, you might as well not drink it. I mean, it's now a processed food. Same with the juices. So raw is always better. And we didn't really talk about this low fat and whole fat, but never do low fat, you guys. Never do fat free. Always do whole fat. They've got to add things like sugar and all kinds of other chemicals to then change the flavor to make it taste as good as whole. So always get whole everything, right? Never do low fat. But I love my raw milk. And I can't drink pasteurized milk. I'm like you. I'm lactose intolerant. A2 raw milk, 100%. There's no problem with it. So it's the pasteurization for me that just ruins it for my gut. So you got to look at it, kind of look at raw milk as breast milk. Any mom out there that has breastfed their baby knows, never put that milk in a microwave, right? You're destroying it.
That's a topic we need to cover on another episode is
Sure.
the whole baby formula to
Oh
breastfeeding.
gosh.
That's a huge one.
Oh, the FDA approves that, right? They approve all this baby formula. Oh boy. That
Yeah,
stuff's
that's a huge one.
toxic. Yeah.
And anyone listening to this too, don't take our word for it. I would encourage you too to do your due diligence. Anything we say, like this is to plant seeds for you to become an expert in your health, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to become a student in this. But don't take our word for it, and certainly don't take the FDA's word for it. Go on even just social media and read threads of parents talking about, because I can tell you this with clients that I've worked with over the years with children. Once I got them to cut out pasteurized dairy with kids that were dealing with eczema, allergies, asthma, and just cut out pasteurized dairy to raw dairy, literally night and day difference within a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Like literally night and day. The only thing I would suggest, maybe if you're coming from a very sterile diet in that sense, slowly look at raw milk as medicine. I wouldn't recommend, like, if your first glass chugging down 32 ounces of raw milk, because you might get a little bit of a stomach ache, because you are introducing different types of proteins and whole fats and different bacteria into your system that is your body has to, like, be able to acknowledge it first to be able to know how to process it if you've been on just a sterile pasteurized diet, right? So there's ways of approaching this, but again, the data to me is so clear, and the data is in the voice of the people. That's the data that I go by, not by these medical mafia funded studies, right?
The experts.
The proof is in the pudding by you reading people's real. It's like with the whole vaccine topic, right?
Yeah.
It's like, who knows their child better than a mom or a dad? And when they go to their pediatrician and say, well, my child is completely different since that last shot, and the doctor tries to convince you that there's nothing wrong, that's insanity to me. Insanity, because the parents know their child way better than the doctor does. Way better.
Absolutely.
So, right? I mean,
we didn't even touch on the FDA and vaccines, so that will be another one, because what they did during COVID with ivermectin is criminal, and that will be a topic in and of itself. The lies, the deception, and the paying off of pharmacies to stop them from dispensing ivermectin with doctors' written prescription orders is criminal. And so that will be, we're talking about the FDA and food right now, the FDA and sunscreen, the FDA on everything but vaccines, but that will be a whole nother topic. I know there'll be a lot of questions asked about that, but man, oh man.
I'm thinking some of these episodes are going to have to be 100% just on Rumble, because I don't know what kind of lifespan they're going to have on YouTube or Spotify.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how quickly we get taken down. TikTok will be the first, so we'll probably won't even start there, but.
No, I'm not wasting. No, I'm not wasting time on that. So anyway,
do your research, guys. Do your research.
Do your research, and don't do anything because somebody says it's good for you. Research it and make sure it resonates with you. That's the most important thing, I think, because as we've touched on, nothing is a one size fits all. But what I do believe is a one size fits all is that we should always go to the source, meaning God's creations, before anything that's been manipulated by man and manufactured by man and manufactured by pharmaceutical companies. And that's I think a golden rule that I think does apply to every living being, whether it be animal or human. Like that is crucial. And just another thought, pet health, dogs, right? The whole vaccine industry for that, the dog food, like that's a whole nother topic. So we're going to get into all this. I promise you guys. There's so much to cover, and it's the good thing is organizations like the FDA and the CDC, they are in fact the gift that keeps on giving to people like us.
That is true.
We will never, I think I don't think we'll ever be at a standstill for content, because every day you wake up, there's something like, oh my God, this is happening now. Here we go.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So that's, I think that wraps us up for today. I think I've said my piece on this topic. Sarah, do you have anything else you would like to close out with that you haven't said just yet?
Well, and I think I want everyone out there that watches this, because I've seen some comments already. You know, we're listening to people who already are well versed and whatever. You know, we didn't start out this way. We were searching for answers as well, and eager for the truth, and desperate to know what was truly going on. And so when you guys listen to this and it seems overwhelming and it seems like, you know, what's the point? There is baby steps, right? We want to slowly start to kind of help you guys see the truth in this. And so if, like Frank said, your diet is rich in pasteurized stuff, make little changes, small little changes, and you will get a wealth of benefit in your health. And so we want to empower you. We want to inspire you. We want you guys to hold the keys to your own health. Don't trust the government. Don't trust the FDA, because they are not out there to protect you. You are a dollar sign. You are a number, and they are better off without you in their mind. And so stay inspired, stay true to what is actually happening, and take those steps, make the change. I promise you'll feel better.
Boom. We are the Overstood Human Podcast.
Thank you for watching the Overstood Human Podcast. Be sure to join in next week. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Always consult with your physician before starting any exercise program or doing anything contained in this podcast.